So we're going to start and see if people will join in today. This is our first live stream for Sound Money Investing. As you see in the YouTube channel, we're going to cover gold, silver, digital gold mainly. But I'm open to other questions from people within the live chat if we get any. But those are the assets and derived assets, ETFs, stocks, things like that, linked to gold, silver, and Bitcoin. That's the purpose of the channel. I just started that, how many? 5 days ago. I have posted 4 videos. It's normal that we don't have many views. That's okay. We got 1 subscriber here, Ty Myers, who joined the channel. So thank you, Ty, for following our channel. If you like the content, if you like the subject, which is, like indicated, gold, silver, and Bitcoin, let's interact and see if we can, if we see, if we can help each other in terms of investing. So we're going to start with the overview of the market. Fairly quickly. If you have questions, you can post them in the chat. I'll go over every single question that we get. So here it's, I think it's maps, 1 week. Hope everybody sees this, but so this is the performance of the market last week. S&P 500 red, Nasdaq red. 2% is quite a big move to the downside. We also have, sorry, let me bring this down like this. Gold down almost 10%, silver almost 15%, copper minus 6.64%, palladium almost 9%, platinum almost 4%. And Bitcoin was down minus 1.55% for the week. A lot of sell-off, a lot of panic, I would say, in the market. Everybody is trying to jump in oil companies, oil related ETFs, oil assets in any type of way. Quite a lot of them have already run up a lot, so some are going to join in, but things can change any day now if for whatever reason the Middle East activities stop or something, then I'm expecting oil to come down quite a lot very quickly. So those who got in right now may be stuck with getting in a little late in this rally. So it's always difficult to determine if it's already too late or if it's still a good time to get in that bandwagon when something moves that way. For us in the channel, we're investing in gold, silver, like I indicated, Bitcoin for the long term. Therefore, these past few weeks have been tough, yes, difficult, but because we're investing for the long term, we will disregard it. Let's say you need to disregard some weeks during the year where the assets don't perform exactly as you plan. The long term thesis normally gets realized over the long term and not necessarily in periods of a few weeks or a few months. So that is quite important to take note. As you see here on CNBC, you have a lot of news related to the conflict, um, evaluations of what happens with crude oil. Um, you see here that the market was red. Dow Jones, S&P 500, Nasdaq, the Russell was everything was down. The VIX went up. So there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear in the market, and it is reflected uh, in the price actions of the different assets. You see here oil up, gas up. This I don't know exactly what it is. In terms of gold here, gold down, silver down, copper down, platinum down, and palladium down. So this is the overview. And in crypto, Bitcoin currently is up a bit. Ether, Solana, Dogecoin, XRP are up, but that's because crypto trades on the weekend, and all the other markets are pretty much closed. Even gold, silver are closed during the weekend, even though they trade 24/7 from Sunday night until Friday evening. Again, I mentioned our channel, Sound Money Investing, where we cover gold, silver, and digital gold. You can look and Google it on YouTube, Sound Money Investing, and you will see the different videos. These are the first four that I have posted, and you will also have here in the live section all the different live chats that we're going to be generating week after week. I plan to do this every weekend, depending on the requests that I get from the subscribers of the channel. Depending on suggestions, also, we will decide on what we discuss within the live streams. If we change the time to, if it's more relevant for most of the people at a different time, I'm open to changing that too. So it's going to be an interactive thing. I'm doing this on my own. This is for fun. It's not financial advice. I'm doing the research of the different assets already. I believe in investing in sound money due to the massive amount of printing that it's coming, the huge debts that the US, Canada, and most of the countries have. Therefore, fiat money, the normal money that everybody is aware, is being debased because they print more and more and more. Therefore, investing in gold, which is rare, silver, the same thing, which is rare, and Bitcoin, which is the first asset that has a really set up finite supply. Gold has been there for thousands of years. Same thing for silver and Bitcoin. It hasn't been 20 years that is available. So it's normal that not a lot of people are comfortable with Bitcoin, know about Bitcoin, are aware of what to do with Bitcoin. So it's a long, long process. People need to do their research, need to get comfortable with handling the required steps in order to be able to grab a little bit of Bitcoin. So it is a hurdle. It is not easy for everybody right now in terms of handling. So that's why I'm quite patient in the acceptance of Bitcoin as sound money. A lot of gold bugs don't want anything to do with Bitcoin. A lot of people who like silver don't want anything to do with Bitcoin either. It's understandable when you do not have all the information or you don't have the interest to look for that information. It is normal that you reject the idea. I'm not imposing anything on anyone, but I believe the three assets, mainly gold, silver, and Bitcoin, are the optimal sound money investing tools to protect your buying power. And by buying power, I mean every single day when you go to work and you get money in exchange for the qualities that you bring, the effort that you put in your work, the output that you generate for whatever company you're working with, you're exchanging that with money currently in 2026, right? So it's a fixed amount of time of work for a fixed amount of money during that period. However, if let's say you get paid $100 per day, well, ideally, you would like that in 1 year, that $100 allows you to buy $100 of stuff or things or a service or food or anything that you need. However, when you keep that $100 in whatever currency you have in your country, let's say the US dollar, the Canadian dollar, the peso, or whatever other currency, the euro, you don't want to end up with that $100 1 year from now being able to just purchase you $90 of things. Why is that? Simply because you put your energy, your talent, your time into getting that $100. If 1 year from now you are only able to buy $90 worth of service or things, you actually lost $10 from the original work that you exchange it with. So it means that you're losing money post working for it. And that's what sound money solves. If you put that $100 into gold, silver, or Bitcoin, over time, normally, under normal circumstances, you will get at least your $100 1 year from now or more, because these assets protect your buying power versus keeping them in US dollars or Canadian dollars. where they continue to dilute them by printing more, and therefore over time these currencies will continue to lose value. And that loss of value right now in 2026, it's even worse because most of the countries have pretty big amount of debt, and they need to refinance that debt. They need to reissue bonds, and in order to pay the interest that they owe and renew those bonds, they will have to print money. And when they do that, they will debase all the money available in that specific country. The rates of debasement vary from country to country. The US dollar being the best of the worst, if you want. The one that gets diluted less is the US dollar, but their debt is enormous. Therefore, in the upcoming years, they will have to print a lot of US dollars. They will debase their currency, and when they do that, the price of gold, the price of silver, the price of Bitcoin should normally go up. And that's why I decided to start this YouTube channel, Sound Money Investing, where we cover these assets. So this is the big picture of the why. And now let's look at a few charts, go over them, and we'll see if people join in. So far, nobody has joined in. It's pretty normal that there's not a lot of people watching the live chat. If you have questions related to gold, silver, Bitcoin, or any other general investing question, just put it in the chat. Say hi. Say where you're from, from what country you're connecting, and we can have a little discussion. So let's start. We're going to start with gold. Let's go to gold. So this is the gold chart. On the weekly, so you see that we have had a very parabolic move in gold since pretty much 2024, I would say. Once the price went above the 200 SMA, it has stayed above it on an uptick. And you will see when I discuss these charts, usually I don't put too many lines and things like that. I'm looking at long trends. Is the asset going up? Is the asset going sideways? Is the asset going downwards? We can analyze daily and the weekly charts, but usually the more powerful ones are the weekly ones, in my opinion, because it gives you a better perspective of where the asset was at least 1 year, if not 2-3 years, to see what the momentum is, and then what is the situation of the current sellers and buyers. In this case, these charts are pretty simple to look at. When you see a lot of green candles, it means during the week there was more buying than selling. And when you see red candles, there was more selling than buying. That's pretty much. You don't have to look at news reports and gold news, minor news, things like that. The price actions uncover every activity around that asset. So the last 2 weeks, quite a lot of selling. It means that there's a lot of people who have gold that sold off. Is it normal? Yes, it is. Is it a major movement in the chart? Yes. You see here the variations were pretty much very, very small. There's a few candles that are longer, but not many at all. This one, the last week, was huge compared to the others. However, when you're looking at these charts, the further away you are from the moving average, the bigger the chances are for a bigger correction. And you see that here, at this green candle here, we were the farthest away from the moving average as we have ever been. And that has now closed down quite a bit. So it's looking more like this region here, where we came closer to the moving average to resume the price action to the upside. So that's what you normally need to look at. If you look at the daily chart, you see here the daily chart. We are coming back down to this level here, and the moving average is currently at around $4,000. We are $500 above that that region. Here the moving average was around 3,350 and the price was around 4,000. So also 500 difference. So you need to look at the separation between the moving average and the price action, and sometimes you will see these big corrections. So now short term, what does it mean? It means that now we are back at levels that were seen in February 2026. So we'll have to wait and see if we stabilize here in terms of price and if we resume to the upside. There's a possibility that we go all the way back to the trend line, but we have not seen this in a really long time. We have not touched it since maybe here in February of 2024, and we were below here in October of 2023. So it's been a long time since we touch or were very close to that trend line. Are we going to get there? Nobody knows. In the future, nobody knows. But like I indicated, all different aspects of gold are still intact. They are still valid today. However, there's the Middle East situation. There's oil. There's inflation. There's beginning of printing that's going on. So what we have seen here is a combination of all these effects, and my guess is that a lot of people decided, you know what, it's too risky, I'm going to take profits and I'm going to sell my position, and that triggered this correction here. For people who were in at 3,000, 2,000, or even 1,800 here in this huge base for gold, if they're selling at 4,400, $4,600, $4,750, or $5,000, it's a good profit. So I don't blame them for taking a profit at this stage. But the basement continues. The debts are raising. Not a lot of countries are strict in terms of their finance, and they're trying to pay back their debt. Practically no one is doing that. Therefore, the thesis of sound money is still intact, and over a longer period of time, it will show up in the assets. Now, let's have a look at silver. Okay, so I'm gonna remove these lines. So silver is a different type of beast. It's a little different than gold. For those who are not familiar, what you need to know is that gold is much more stable in terms of price versus silver. Silver is more volatile. It means that it can go higher quickly, but it can also correct faster than gold. And you see this in the chart. We've seen explosive movements in terms of silver, but the same principles apply, meaning that we were in an exponential phase for silver. We corrected sharply because we were way extended, meaning way far, too far from the moving average, way too far. So we were due for a correction, and that is pretty much people taking profits. But you see that silver went up to $122, came back down to 62, went up again to 94, came back down to 65, and now it's trading at 67. These are huge movements. You see the size of the candles that we have seen since, I would say, since what? Since December of 2025. The size of the candles have nothing to do with what we have seen in since 2020 here in the chart. Absolutely crazy movements. There's a few candles here in November of 2025, but besides that, there are all tiny candles, not a lot of variation. So this is recent. And why it's happening? First, because silver is more volatile than gold. The market is smaller than gold. And we are, in an we are in a new region in terms of price for silver. So it's a discovery type of period. We are adjusting. People are deciding if they're going to hold silver, sell silver, because the people who invested in 2022, 2023 most probably already took quite a lot of profits and are waiting to see what will happen with silver. One thing you need to notice is that we have seen already a few good signs for silver. We corrected down to 64, came back up. Then we corrected down to 65 and went up. So it seems that 60, 64, 65 could be the new base here of the price of silver. And again, it comes back to the same explanation I gave to for gold is that as we get closer to the moving average, people start buying back again silver and accumulating in these regions. So, not financial advice, but in these regions, we could have good opportunities to accumulate silver if that's an asset that you're interested in. Can we come back and touch the moving average? The answer is yes. We have seen it done it before, plenty of time. Maybe even traded below. But since what is it? Since April of 2025, it has not happened. We have not even touched it, or we haven't even been close to it. So we'll have to wait and see. But for now, we seem to be establishing a base around above $60. And you see here that the moving average is at $56.50 or something like that. And every week, the moving average is going up and up and up slightly. So most probably $60 could be a good base. Eventually, we'll catch up to the 65, and in that case, potentially silver will bounce back away from the trend line that, like it has been doing in the last year and a half or so. So this is my overview of gold and silver. The thesis for silver, it's the same as for gold. It's a scarce asset. It's slightly different because for gold, yes, there's a utility. You know, there's jewelry. It's used a little bit in electronics and things like that, but there's not a lot of industrial use per se. In terms of silver, there's a lot of industrial use for solar panel, electronics, all kinds of different items that are sold sorry, required silver. Therefore, it is a metal that is used. And once it's used, the only option to recover some of it is through recycling. Okay, but there's always loss of silver at each and every step. So there's a lot of demand in terms of the industry towards silver, but there's also people accumulating silver as they do accumulate gold. And when they do that, they remove silver from circulation, meaning they buy it and you don't see it for many years. And then it comes back because they sell it many years down the road. So the market of silver is smaller. The amount of silver available is smaller. Therefore, you get these types of volatility in terms of silver. We are not removing or taking silver out of the ground fast enough for all the needs currently in 2026. So we are underserved in terms of production for silver. Not many mines of dedicated to silver are coming online. Most of them remove silver because they are either gold mines or other metal mines that they are. It's a byproduct of those mines, and not necessarily the main target. So there's quite a few silver dedicated mines. For those who want to know, the biggest, I think, the biggest mining mines in the world are located in Mexico. There's a lot in other countries, but the main quite a high percentage of mines are located in Mexico. That's the information that I currently have. If other people have more information related to that, post them in the comments of the live stream. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I have read in my research so far. And yes, so if you want a more stable price action, you go with gold. If you want more volatility, more upside, but you have to also be aware of the downside, it's silver. So now we have 13 minutes left for the last asset. We're gonna go over and talk about Bitcoin. Okay, I'm going to remove that too. Oops. Okay, so this is the weekly chart from Bitcoin since 2020. And you see that it's quite different from the gold chart and the silver chart. Bitcoin goes through cycles, ups and downs, consolidations, and uptrends. That's the big picture that you need to understand. There's upswings to tops, then there's consolidation at the top, then there's corrections, then accumulations and push up in price, then consolidations again, push in price, consolidation. But this is the overall trend here is up, 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 up. When it turns, you see here on the moving average, when it turns, usually turns for a while. It's not a turn for a couple of weeks. When it's up multiple weeks up to here. Then when it turns for quite a lot of weeks. Then when it turns again to the upside, up again for multiple weeks. And then when it turns, it corrects for quite a while. So these periods we call bear markets. These periods we call bull markets. In Bitcoin, normally, big picture, there's a 1 year bear market and then followed by approximately 3 years of bull market. That's what we have seen in the last 17 years, something like that, since Bitcoin was launched initially. So that's what we have seen. So the top here, as you see, was in October of 2025. Normally, it lasts a year. If you look at here, this is November 2021. And you see here, this is November 2022. So November 2021, November 2022 was pretty much the base here at the bottom. And then November 2022, November 2023, 1 year. November 2024, second year. And then November 2025 here, the third year. So 1 year down, 3 years up. So here the top, the last top for Bitcoin was in October of 2025. So we're looking potentially to a bottom is somewhere in here. Let me just put a little no. So we're going down, right? So let's say, I don't know exactly where it's going to be. So October, we're talking here. That's what we're looking forward for Bitcoin. Okay, how low are we going to go? Is it 60? Is it 55? Is it 50,000? Is it 45? Is it 40,000? I cannot tell you. I have no idea. My guess is that we're going to stay above $60,000 for Bitcoin. That's my guess, and it's only a guess. It's not financial advice, okay? However, this is, like I indicated, this is October 2025. So November, 1 month. December, 2 months. January, third month. February, fourth month. So we are 4 months away. We have corrected already quite a bit. So technically, 8 months left for the year or so. And the closer we get to October, the closer we're going to get potentially for the next bottom in Bitcoin. So again, it's a little bit of the same thing as the other assets. You need to define in what type of region they are. In the case of gold, we were way above the moving average. We corrected. In the case of silver, we were way above the moving average and we corrected. In the terms of Bitcoin, we have already corrected. We have already started correcting based on what happened, based on history. So that's what we know. It's up to you to decide when it is time to accumulate each of the assets: Bitcoin, silver, and gold. Obviously, near trend lines in terms of Bitcoin, in terms of gold and silver, has been a good strategy so far. And in terms of Bitcoin, if you follow the cycles, well, most probably, let's say August, September, October, the last 3 months and I say could be the best months to accumulate Bitcoin. But nobody knows what will happen the next month, in 2 months, in terms of global economic impact, decisions that the governments will make, what those decisions will imply towards Bitcoin. We don't know all this. So it's a guessing game. It's up to you to decide if now Bitcoin has corrected already quite a bit. If it has, then it's a good time to start accumulation, not financial advice. But the same thing applies for gold, silver, and Bitcoin. I advise people to first start investing. Second, cover your main expenses. And whatever money you can save, and try to increase that saving as much as you can. I know it's quite hard these days with inflation and things like that. So it may be more easier for a few people and quite difficult for many people. I understand that. But whatever money you put aside, then you need to decide how you're going to deploy it, where you're going to deploy it. Have a plan. Is gold one good idea? Is silver one other idea? Is Bitcoin another idea? Is stocks in general another idea? Is a specific company a good idea? This is all the market that you need to scatter and look into. But once you have a specific amount that you want to invest, I highly recommend to invest a fixed amount every week if you can, and just buy a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. If the price of the asset goes up, you buy less. If the price of the asset goes down, you buy more with the same amount every single week. And that's how you average down your buys. Obviously, you need to pick your regions, right? If you're averaging always in this region when the price is high, then when it corrects a lot, then your positions go down in value. On the contrary, if you don't buy here and you accumulate cash, accumulate cash, accumulate cash, and when it starts correcting here, oh, okay, you decide from here up to here, I'm gonna average down every week, and then I'm gonna stop investing. Then you wait, and then at the end of the third year, you start taking profits, then you'll be fine. But we're talking a 4-year period of investing. Many people cannot invest for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because they buy, then they see their portfolio going down, they sell right away. And that's not investing, then you're speculating, you're just trying to make a quick buck. So have a plan in place, select your assets, invest as much as you can, and do it gradually depending on your asset. Learn a little bit about each of the assets and their cycles, and try to discern where are the regions within the year, within 2 years, within 3 years, if it's a buying opportunity or if it's too late to invest in that specific asset. When you see Bitcoin going up like this, and you start to invest in Bitcoin, but it's the beginning of the third year, you know already that you're late. A lot of people have accumulated and already have profits on if they did buy early. If you're not aware that you're late, you're going to continue accumulate, and then boom, it crashes, and then you're in the red. Your portfolio goes down, and you don't understand why it happened. It happened because you didn't research properly that specific asset, and that's what made you buy near the top. Usually a big rule is if you chase, meaning if the stock has gone up quite a bit already and you chase, most probably you'll get in trouble because the asset will correct. People will take profits and it will go down in price. So usually what happens, you select your assets, you have windows of time when you say if it has corrected this amount of percentage, I start averaging it down, and then if it goes beyond this level, I stop investing. These decisions and these plans can be written pretty easily. It doesn't take weeks and weeks and weeks of work. You have your thesis, you have your plan, you stick to it, and you should be fine. I don't follow blindly anybody, but I listen and I try to learn from the experts that have been here in the markets. For example, gold, silver, it's a new field for me. It's been a little over a year that I've been researching gold and silver, but there's people who have 5-year experience, 10-year experience, 30-year experience in gold investing. So I listen to these people who have way more knowledge than myself, try to extract value from them, The same things applies for stock investing, and the same things apply for silver investing or Bitcoin. Go to the expert to understand the assets. And please do not follow people blindly. You need to make your own decisions. You need to make your own plans. It's your money. Take good care of it. So, with that, we're going to close the live stream. Again, first live stream ever on the platform here of Sound Money Investing. Unless somebody here has a comment and has not asked a question, I will wait a few seconds. If there's a question, I'll answer it. I have my phone here with the live chat, so I have access to the comments of everybody. Please subscribe, please like, please listen to these live streams. I plan to do them quite interactively. We can do pretty much whatever we want. There's no real huge structure that I have to stick to it. If I'm restricted in time, I will say it initially at the beginning of the live stream, but usually I will try to be available at least an hour or even more. So if I have 20-30 questions, we can go over that in detail. I can go to the charts, analyze charts. We can go to websites here. I can have access to internet, so we can go and consult, different documents that you want to decipher. We can go over quite a lot, and we can cover quite a lot here. The goal is for me to learn from you guys, but also share what research that I have found, the knowledge that I have in terms of trading, the assets that I use for investing. We haven't covered that here, but I will cover that in the upcoming weeks. You will see it in the videos. So follow the videos, listen to the live streams, and hopefully we can evolve here in the channel nicely. Again, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please make your own decisions. Please be careful with your money and do not follow people blindly. With that, thank you very much, everybody. Happy Saturday, and see you all next time.